I never believed in ghosts. I was the kind of person who'd roll my eyes at horror movies. The one who'd laugh when my friends jumped at a sudden noise. Ghosts, spirits, the supernatural. It was all just fiction to me, until my phone started telling me things before they happened. It began on a perfectly normal Tuesday night. Rain was tapping softly against my window, a gentle rhythm in the quiet house. My parents were asleep downstairs, and the only light in my room was the glow of my phone screen. I was just mindlessly scrolling, the usual late-night routine, when a notification popped up. It was from an unknown number. Just 3 words. "Don't sleep tonight." I frowned. It had to be a prank. Maybe one of my friends got a new number. I typed back a quick, skeptical reply. "Who is this?" The response was instant. "Someone who doesn't want you to die." Okay, that sent a shiver down my spine. I laughed, but it was a nervous, hollow sound that didn't feel like my own. This was just a dumb, elaborate joke. I locked my phone, tossed it onto my nightstand, and tried to forget about it. But a few minutes later, a deafening crash echoed up from the kitchen. It sounded like a mountain of glass shattering. My heart leaped into my throat. I jumped out of bed, my mind racing through worst-case scenarios. I crept out of my room and down the stairs, my every sense on high alert. When I got to the kitchen, the sight was both strange and relieving. A heavy wooden shelf had ripped itself clean from the wall, sending a cascade of plates and glasses smashing onto the floor. But that was it. No intruder, no broken window. Justa bizarre, random accident. I swept up the biggest pieces of glass, my hands still trembling, and headed back to the safety of my room. As primera walquet, in my phone screen lit up a new message from the same unknown number. That was warning 1. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a prank anymore. I snatched up the phone, my fingers fumbling as I typed. "Stop this, you're not funny." The little typing bubble appeared, taunting me. It would pop up, then vanish, then reappear. It felt like an eternity before the message finally arrived. At 2:13 a.m., you'll hear footsteps outside your door. Do not open it. I glanced at the clock on my phone. 1:58 a.m. 15 minutes. I sat on the edge of my bed, my eyes glued to the door, every nerve ending screaming. The house was silent again, but now the silence felt heavy, suffocating. Each second stretched on, marked by the frantic beat of my own heart. Las 2:10, las 2:11. The digital clock seemed to slow down. 2:12. And then, at exactly 2:13 a.m., I heard it. Slow footsteps, a heavy, dragging sound, like something being pulled along the hallway carpet. It was deliberate, unhurried. The sound stopped right outside my bedroom door. I clamped a hand over my mouth to stifle a gasp. A thin slice of shadow appeared under the door, blocking the dim light from the hallway. Then, a knock. 3 slow, methodical knocks that echoed in the dead quiet of the room. My entire body was frozen. My phone buzzed in my hand, the vibration making me jump. Primera looked down. "Good. You listened." The shadow under the door retreated. The footsteps dragged themselves away, fading down the hall. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I certainly didn't sleep a single second that night. The next morning, the first thing I did was check my phone. I searched for the conversation, for the unknown number. It was gone. The entire chat history vanished, as if it had never happened. I tried to rationalize it. It was stress, lack of sleep. My mind was playing tricks on me. I spent the day trying to convince myself that I'd imagined the whole thing. The fallen shelf was just a coincidence. The footsteps were just the house settling. But that night, it happened again. This time, the message was even more terrifying, because it came from my own number. It was my contact photo, my name, sending me a text. "You shouldn't trust them." I stared at the screen, my mind unable to process what I was seeing. "How was this possible?" I replied, my hands shaking so badly I could barely type. "Trust who?" The reply was immediate. "The one pretending to help you." My stomach felt like it was full of ice. Before I could even think about what that meant, another notification popped up. It was from the unknown number again, the one from last night. "Don't listen to it. That thing is lying. So now there were two of them, two invisible forces communicating through my phone, both claiming they wanted to protect me, but one of them was a liar. The question was, which one? The days that followed were a blur of paranoia and fear. The messages continued, a constant, terrifying stream of information. The unknown number would warn me about things. Don't take the bus at 4 p.m. There will be an accident. I'd stay home, and later see on the news that the bus had been in a multi-car pileup. My own number would tell me about people. Your friend isn't sick. She's lying to you. I'd text my friend, and she'd later admit she just didn't want to hang out. They were both always right. Every prediction, every piece of advice was flawlessly accurate. I started to depend on them. I wouldn't leave the house without their guidance. But slowly, the nature of their advice began to shift. It grew darker, more isolating. The unknown number texted, "Stay inside today. There are people outside who want to hurt you." So I locked the doors and didn't leave. Then, my own number would message, "Your family knows what you did. They're talking about you behind your back." I'd look at my parents, searching their faces for any sign of betrayal, and start avoiding them. My world became smaller and smaller, shrinking until it was just the four walls of my bedroom. I stopped going out. I stopped talking to my friends, to my family. I spent my days just staring at my phone, waiting for the next instruction, the next warning. Then came the messages that changed everything. One night, they both arrived at the same time. 2 notifications lighting up my screen in the darkness from the unknown number. Tonight, one of us will disappear from my own number, and one of us will take your place. At exactly midnight, the power in the entire house went out. Everything was plunged into an absolute, suffocating darkness. The only light was the pale, ghostly glow of my phone screen. And on that screen, 2 final messages appeared simultaneously. 1 choice, 2 outcomes. The unknown number said, "Open the door." My own number said, "Hide in the closet." My heart was pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. Who did I trust? The one who warned me about physical dangers, or the one who exposed the lies of others? As I stood there, frozen with indecision, I heard a sound that made my choice for me. The handle of my bedroom door began to turn, slowly, with a low, agonizing creak. I didn't think I just reacted. I scrambled across the room, wrenched open the closet door, and threw myself inside, pulling it shut just as my bedroom door swung open. I crouched in the dark, peering through the tiny sliver of a gap between the closet door and the frame. Something walked into my room. At first glance, it looked like me. It had my height, my clothes, my hair. It walked the way I walked. But as it turned its head, its face caught the moonlight from the window, and I saw it smile. It was wrong. It was too wide, stretching unnaturally across its face, filled with a cold, empty amusement. The thing the copy of me pulled out a phone. Its screen buzzed, and it looked down, reading a message. It nodded to itself, a slow, satisfied gesture.